This morning, on August 28, 2025, a scene of unimaginable horror unfolded in Minneapolis. The peaceful setting of the Annunciation Catholic School became the site of a deadly shooting. A routine weekday mass, a time for quiet reflection and community, was violently interrupted. The tranquility of the morning was shattered, leaving a community in shock and a nation in mourning. This tragic event targeted the most vulnerable among us, forever altering the lives of everyone present inside the historic Annunciation Church. The attack began without warning, transforming a place of sanctuary into a scene of chaos and profound loss. It was approximately 8:30 a.m. local time when the attack commenced. People who had been deep in prayer were suddenly scrambling for safety, seeking cover under pews and behind pillars. First responders arrived, and the community began the long work of grieving and recovery. The morning that began in worship ended in mourning. The human cost of this horrific attack is staggering and deeply heartbreaking. 2 young lives were tragically cut short in the midst of the violence. An 8-year-old child was killed, a 10-year-old child was killed. They were sitting in the pews participating in the Mass. In addition to the 2 fatalities, 17 other individuals were injured. The injured children ranged in age from as young as 6 to 15 years old. 3 elderly parishioners, all in their 80s, were also hurt. The scene inside the church was one of devastation. Investigators documented the sanctuary and began piecing together events. For survivors, the emotional scars will run deep. Suddenly, the sanctity of the Mass was broken by the distinct and terrifying sound of gunshots. According to authorities, the shooter began firing from outside the building, targeting the church's windows. The initial shots pierced the glass, sending shards flying and instilling immediate panic. Parents shielded their children, teachers guided students toward exits or hiding places. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving little time to react or escape. First responders worked quickly to secure the area and provide medical aid. The community faces a long and painful process of healing. The attack left deep scars on the Annunciation community and raised urgent questions about safety. Law enforcement began piecing together security footage and evidence. Neighbors and strangers gathered in vigil, leaving messages and support for the grieving families. Many will require long-term care for physical and emotional trauma. We now turn to what investigators have uncovered about the shooter and the motive. Authorities have identified the shooter as 23-year-old Robin Westman. Following the attack, Westman was found deceased inside the church from an apparent self-inflicted wound. Investigators photographed the pews and cataloged the scene as they sought to understand what happened. Officials began reviewing background files and digital footprints to build a profile. Law enforcement recovered 3 different types of firearms, a shotgun and a pistol. Investigators believe shots were fired from all 3 weapons during the attack. Even more chilling were the messages the shooter inscribed on weapons and magazines. Before the attack, Westman posted a video showcasing the firearms covered in hateful and threatening writings. "Kill Donald Trump," along with anti-Semitic and other hateful references, were among the disturbing messages. FBI Director Kash Patel said the shooting is being investigated as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. The writings and the choice of target point toward a deliberate attack on a religious community. Public records indicate Westman had a personal connection. Their mother previously worked at the Church of Annunciation. Disturbingly, all 3 weapons were purchased legally and recently, a detail that will figure into ongoing inquiries. That fact raises urgent questions about firearm access and background checks that lawmakers and communities will now confront. Investigators continue to analyze digital footprints to understand radicalization and motive. In summary, a premeditated act carried out by a lone shooter, armed with legally obtained weapons covered in hateful messages. 2 children were killed and 17 others injured before the shooter took their own life. The FBI is investigating this as domestic terrorism and a hate crime. The Annunciation community is left to heal as investigators continue their work and families seek answers. If you found this recap helpful, please like and subscribe for continued updates. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families.